Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is Rubidium. Today we are talking shoulder-mounted and handheld camera operation and how you can get the smoothest, most stable, least shaky handheld footage you can. So when ARRI came out with smaller film cameras in the 1970s, it created a mini revolution in how films were shot. No longer did you need a big, bulky studio camera on a tripod. You could throw this thing on your shoulder or hold it in your arms and move much, much quicker, get more dynamic shots, go places that you couldn't go before, and really set off a whole chain of films that were shot quickly, looked great, things like The French Connection, and it sort of triggered a new wave in Hollywood filmmaking and filmmaking worldwide. The problem is when we take our DSLRs and either put it on our shoulder or in our hands, we get all these crazy micro vibrations and shutter, all kinds of things that makes the footage draw lots of attention to the fact that someone's holding the camera. So let's look at the camera that started the shoulder-mounted revolution, the ARRICAM LT. When you rig this thing for shoulder-mounted shots, it's 40 pounds. That's the size of a fully loaded suitcase that goes under the plane, not a carry-on. It's more than most people can lift. So when you have it on your shoulder, it doesn't give you those small micro vibrations. It is an absolute unit that sits there, has a lot of inertia, and when you are shifting around or when you're just sitting there, it gives a really nice stable shot. Compare it to a C200 like I have. If I put that on my shoulder with a bare bones shoulder kit, it probably weighs about 10 pounds. So even though the shoulder kit might be great, it's not the most stable way to shoot your footage. You have to add big batteries, V-mount battery plates, larger monitors, EVFs, transmitters, receivers, all kinds of things to get that weight up. And most Hollywood films don't have a problem with that because they're throwing all those things on anyway. And you end up with much more stable footage. And it's also great to have a camera with a low center of gravity. The C300 and 300 Mark II were notoriously tall cameras, so when you put stuff on top of them rather than around them, they tended to be very toppy and wobble when you had them on your shoulder. An EVF, or electronic viewfinder, is a great way to add a third contact point with your camera. So it's a suction cap that sits on your eye, and that lets you brace the camera from moving like this or all those little jitters by kind of holding it in place with your eye or your orbital bone of your skull. This definitely makes things more stable when you're swinging around or like finding the frame. Even when you're just sitting there, the EVF rather than a 5 or 7 inch screen really adds to stability in shoulder mounted mode. Even though I personally don't like using an EVF because it means that you're, totally dependent on your first AC or whoever's spotting you, not to crash into things. Even the actor's head, if you have the actor right next to your lens and you have an EVF on and you're looking through here, there have been times that I have bumped into someone with my matte box because I had my eye closed and I wasn't aware of my surroundings. Shoulder-mounted work long-term, even with a nice, stable, heavy camera, like an ARRICAM or a correctly weighted C700 or FS7. You're taking the weight a lot on your shoulder, but you're also having to hold your arms up like this, and you can get a lot of fatigue in your shoulder muscles and in your lats. There are products called support rings that you sort of wear with braces that go around your body, and it lets your arms sort of rest on something. So the camera's resting on your shoulder and your arms are resting on this ring. This came out of, operators and gaffers using pillows up under the shoulders or putting Apple boxes here so you could rest your elbows on them. This goes with you, so you kind of put it on. The Cine Saddle is one of them. There are a couple of other brands, but if you do another way to get more stable handheld footage is a thing called an Easy Rig. It's a backpack that you wear and supports on your shoulders and on your hips, and then it has sort of like an anglerfish hook that comes out over the top, and then it has a button on the sort of cable that lets you lengthen and shorten it. And it's not really perfect for stabilizing handheld or moving shots, but it's really great for taking the weight off your arms if you want to hold a camera in front of you. It makes it very easy to get odd angles, low angles, high angles. If you're shooting music video stuff and you want to spin the camera around, or you want to get it into odd and interesting places, an Easyrig or the things like an Easyrig, there are a couple of other competitors out there, are really worth checking out. If you can't do Easyrig or a shoulder mount, and you have to handheld, people have developed various techniques for holding the camera to make it more stable. Rather than having it in your hands in front of you, if you pull it into your body and hold it by the side handle and the mat box, looking down at the screen, you'll get a much more stable sort of waist high or a little bit higher than waist high shot. Shane Herbert calls this the man cam. He actually had a little handle put on to make it a little bit more like a gun, hence the name. But anytime you're moving with big muscles like your hips and your shoulders rather than small muscles like your wrists and your elbows, you get much less vibration and movement in your shot. So if you pull the camera tight into your body, and like I said, look down at it rather than have it in front of you, you get a much more stable shot. There are several different ways to get much cleaner, more stable handheld work that lets you move faster than having a tripod, or lets you shoot your film in shorter amount of time, more variation, more shots, better options in the cut. Thank you very much for watching. Leave your questions in the comments. Subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I will see you next time.